Hi, I'm Lyndon Meredith and I'm the principal bass trombone player of the London Philharmonic Orchestra. Within our section, so 3 trombones and tuba, my particular role, so being at the bottom of the trombones and next to the tuba, is a sort of bridge between both. Most of what I try and do is to try and complement what the tuba player's doing, and then just to sort of give the other lads musically a nice sort of cushion to sit on, if that makes sense. So we play a bigger instrument, so it makes a broader sound. And also we have a couple of triggers, so we can play some notes that you can't get on a straight trombone. Occasionally then there's the contrabass trombone, which is even bigger, which is in F. So it's bigger, it's broader. That's good fun, actually. I enjoy playing that. I mean, the first thing I remember musically really is listening to my mum practicing the piano. So she used to get us all off to bed and then she'd do her practice. So I remember sort of falling asleep listening to Mum practicing the scales, you know, which was good because then when I started playing and had to learn scales, I already knew the tune. At school, when they were handing out the instruments, they gave me a cornet because they always give small instruments to small children, bigger instruments to bigger children. So being quite a small boy, they gave me a cornet. And the lad who lived next door was quite a tall lad, and they gave him a trombone. You know, we used to go around each other's houses and play. And so I took my cornet round to his house, and he got this trombone out, and I just thought it was the most fascinating thing. Had a go on it, and that was it. So I took the cornet back to school, said, I'd like to play the trombone instead, if I can. In Dudley, where I grew up, there was a very good sort of local music service. And at the time, everything was free. We were very lucky then, so lessons were free, all the orchestras were free to play. As soon as you could play 2 or 3 notes, you were straight into a band, and then you sort of worked your way up from the junior bands, intermediates and orchestras, wind bands. I loved it. I mean, that's what we did 2, 3, 4 nights a week. Plus, again, very lucky being in a primary school with a fantastic music teacher who had a school orchestra in a primary school, which is sort of unheard of now, I think, well, certainly from sort of people I speak to. It was incredible, and same sort of thing, whether you played the recorder, the violin, the trumpet, whatever you played, whatever notes you knew, she'd write you a part and you were in the orchestra. And that was, so a lot of time spent playing with other people, yeah. Going back to sort of junior bands, playing in the brass bands, you sit on second trombone. And we had too many second trombones, so I was asked, could you either go on to first trombone or go on to bass trombone? And I'm not really someone who seeks the limelight. Not saying that all first trombone players are. And I always thought the bass trombones had the best music to play. So I went on to bass, and that's where I've been ever since. I went to the Conservatoire in Birmingham. After graduating, well, I used to work in a pub, which is, you know, some people teach and some people do other things, but I worked in a pub, and I had a very nice chap who ran the pub who would let me get out if I'd got concerts that came in, and sort of freelancing grew as it went on, and used to do a lot of local things in Birmingham, used to go in with the CBSO, and then some friends of mine who I knew from Dudley started playing with this orchestra over in Germany called the Philharmonia of the Nations. So they asked me to go and play with them. So we used to spend 3, 4, 5 months a year sort of touring around Germany with this orchestra, which was great fun. From that, met somebody who worked out in Gran Canaria in the orchestra there, the bass trombone player. He took a sabbatical and asked me to go and cover his job for a year, which I did, which was fantastic. So I got to live in Spain for a year and then came back home, carried on doing auditions, and then ended up with a trial here and got the job. I've been in the LPO for 16 years. The personnel changes, but the actual feeling and the ethos of the band doesn't change at all, I don't think. I've heard it said, they're not my words, but I think it sums it up perfectly, is we take the music very seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously. It's still a great, friendly, nice bunch of people. And the trombone section hasn't changed at all. It's been the same people for 16 and a half years now. You end up almost sort of telepathic. It's almost that you know how somebody else is going to play something before they've played it. And it's a very comfortable place to be as a musician, you know. There's just certain moments when that happens and it's just this feeling that you sort of never get from anything else. Probably one would be the Mahler seconds that we filmed for the Sky documentary. that was just one of those nights where everything just sat and everything just felt so easy. And I think it comes out in the music and in the recording that we did. Everything just seemed to, without even really having to think about it, it just sort of happened. I think that's one of the best concerts I've done. I think just that feeling of being part of something bigger than yourself and being a small cog in an extremely large, complicated machine. And some of my favourite bits are when I'm not even playing as such and just sitting listening to all these fantastic musicians doing what they do, and just being able to be a part of that is very special.